dog. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. Welcome to Speak On It with Who You With, Kurt, dog. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. Welcome to Speak On It with Who You With, Kurt, dog. Welcome to Speak On It with Who You With, Kurt, dog. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. Welcome to Speak On It with Who You With, Kurt, dog. Welcome to Speak On It with Who You With, Kurt, dog. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome to Speak On It with Who You With, Kurt, dog. Welcome to Speak On It with Who You With, Kurt, dog. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome to Speak On It with Who You With, Kurt, dog. Welcome to Speak On It with Who You With, Kurt, dog. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome to Speak On It. Welcome to Speak On It. I'm welcome to Speak On It. Welcome to Speak On it. I'm welcome to Speak On It. Welcome to Speak On it. I'm welcome to speak. Welcome to speak. Welcome to speak. I'm 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 welcome to speak. Who you with, Kurt, dog? Welcome to Speak On It with Who You With, Kurt, dog. Who You With, Kurt, dog. Happy Thursday to everyone. Hopefully y'all had a great day. Want to welcome everyone on Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, Twitch, Twitter. D Live is in the house, and also we are doing a show on Anchor FM for the ones that is on the go. So you can also check us out on there. Also, you can actually subscribe to the channel with Anchor and get all the updates and the shows besides the ones we do on here, the other shows we'll be doing. So you definitely want to subscribe. It's at a reasonable price. Support the show. Y'all know what time it is. It's Thursday night. My homegirl is in the house. Miss Risky is here. What's going on, Miss Risky? How you doing tonight?
So far, I'm all right.
It's so far it sounds good. I know you got the new microphone, so it's sounding good on my end. So
We're testing out new things.
Exactly.
Hint, hint, Amazon. Since I'm always on, you need to sponsor a girl.
Who that again?
I said Amazon.
Amazon, come on now.
They need to sponsor a girl.
Support a small business because we both do a lot with Amazon. Let me do this real quick. If you are on my personal Facebook page, please take the time and go over to Speak On It with Who You With, Kurt, dog. And for you can live chat with us during the show. So definitely take the time to go. It's right at the bottom of your screen, just the way it look on the screen. So definitely go over there and be a part of the show. We get emails and we get people that ask us all the time about updates, about stories that we have done in the past. So tonight, that's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about, I believe it was All Aboard that asked us about updating Tamla Horsford, Quawan Charles, and Orson and Orrin West, the two young kids missing out of California, I believe. But we're going to do updates on those tonight. So we have done our research and found the most updated information possible. And you ready to get it started, Miss Risky?
Yeah. So I'm going to start with Tamla Horsford. Still a mystery. This is the young woman. Well, she's 40 years old in Cummings, Georgia. Her death is just shrouded in mystery. On November 3rd, 2018, she arrived at her friend's house at about 8:30. Jeannie Myers, to celebrate her 45th birthday. Tamla was one of the last guests to arrive at the party. Um, Eventually, her boyfriend ended up coming. Jenny, Janine, or Jenny, her boyfriend came, and a friend of his, and you know, there wasn't. It doesn't seem like they had any issues, but eventually, I think around 8:45 that morning, one of the aunts who lived next to Jenny um, just looked outside and saw Tamla face down in her pajamas in on the front lawn. Um, Even with the cameras being in the home, which one of her guests said that one of the cameras should have picked up on it. Um, there were speculations that she had maybe fallen off the balcony, but her arms were to her side, so and she had multiple blunt force injuries. Uh, the examiner's office ruled Tamla's death as accidental due to multiple blunt force injuries, and acute ethanol intoxication played, as they say, stated that played a significant factor in her death as well. Um, the examiner felt that Tamla's injuries were consistent with injuries one would have or receive, in a fall, and that they saw no evidence of any assault or foul play. Well, of course, that didn't, bode well for the family because they're like, wait, that doesn't make sense because, you fall, your hands are up, and hers were to her side. And just looking at all the research online, there were some discrepancies on, when someone found her body, if they, her body was tampered with, if they positioned her that way. Um, but let's see, the story I got for the most, before we got on air, it was on July 30th, 2021. Um, there was a new investigation that opened up in her death, which was ended by Georgia Bureau of Investigation, which kind of corroborated what they had found, that there was no evidence to bring any criminal charges on anyone. The DA reviewed and determined the facts and investigative findings do not support a pursuit or prosecution of criminal charges. And that was a statement that was in the Atlantic Journal Constitution. And it looked like there was still some movement on this case. Most recent, August 15th, there was a story that was brought up for August um, 5th, that stated that the GBI was not, there was nothing more that would support any prosecution. So I'm sure that this won't be the last time we hear about this story, because the family, it seems like they are still fighting for their daughter. Um, she had five sons and an adult daughter, so they need answers because that was just the most random thing that could happen. So
Ex- Exactly, and hopefully uh, justice is done because there's a lot of information that came out and it just kind of throw up a red flag as for the boyfriend coming over to a slumber party for females
right, and he brought a friend.
and brought a friend. And then on top of that, I think when the story first came out, I believe I heard something about her and another young lady had got into it about something. And yeah,
Well,
at the
also,
beginning.
it sounds like the whole house had security cameras, front, back, side, and they got all these alerts throughout the night because I guess Tamla smokes, her herbals, and also some of her party guests smoke cigarettes. So they have a timeline of when the alarm, because when you open the door, it makes a sound and it tracks. It's like, oh, door is ajar, da da da, like most security systems do. And so all of a sudden, it's like this big gap, and it's like, so she's on the front lawn, and there's a balcony. Like, I'm sure she wasn't in the room by herself. How did she get there and nobody noticed until the morning? And then, if they have like cameras in the front, like, and there's movement, and when they'd have picked it up, when they seen, they could be able to determine if she was thrown off, if she just lost her balance, or if she was running for her life and was killed on the lawn. But we'll never know.
Exactly.
I mean, hopefully we'll find out, but right now, there's nothing more for that.
Exactly. Welcome to the show, all aboard. She actually came on while you was
Yeah,
talking,
that's
said,
all. Hey, all aboard.
hi, Kurt, dog, Miss Risky in chat. But she also said, from what I remember, the owner of the house she was at was politically connected, and the friend that came over worked for the police department and was caught searching the woman name in the database. I'm gonna have to do some more research on that
Yeah, because there
because
was a lot of stuff. Because like the more you read on it, like I said, her body position, like there was some speculation that her body was moved. Because again, she was found, her arms were straight at her side, and like even as a person who watches a lot of thrillers, when somebody falls, they're trying to break the fall. They're not
trying to
gonna just,
break the fall.
you know, fall with their arms to their side. And so there, there's a lot of uh, things out there stating that her body was moved and it may have been posed. But I couldn't find any more information on that because they kind of skimmed through that on the sources that I found. So, but we'll keep an eye on it. So
Yeah, we definitely going to continue to look more into this story, and if it's other stories that you would like for us to revisit, because we talk about a lot of different things on this platform, and sometimes things come up, and um, with everything that's going on in the world, we don't always remember a lot of things until someone mentioned it to us. And we have to go back. And once we pull up the story, we can kind of replay it in our head, everything that we did investigate about it, which is this whole story is kind of strange, and I think you mentioned it also. The GBI did reopen that case, but then they closed it again.
hmm
But the only reason why they reopened that case was because of the outrage um, from the community,
right,
and then I think it only took them a couple of days to close this case
right.
again.
It was like maybe I'll give them a few weeks because like the story that I pulled from was July 30th, but then there was an update in August, um, the 15th, which is fairly recent. So something happened. I want to say probably the family was pushing in the community. It's like, you closed that too quick. Like you just got this, and then they
Exactly.
just closed it again. So I'm sure the family and the community will probably um, maybe get their own private investigator or at some point, and just do a more thorough investigation. Because me, like, if the woman, the friend had all these security cameras, I mean, look at the tapes, look at the video.
Yeah.
Like,
Look
unless
at the
they
video.
erased it, I mean, I'm sure there's a way you can recover some of that, but
Get a
I
warrant, go to
don't
the
know
security company.
how long. I mean, after this long, I don't know if things would hang in the cloud that long, and that's the only problem. But at that time, that would have been the best evidence right there.
Yes. And I did read in the story that the attorney is asking for the reports from GBI and also the sheriff department. So it's not going to go away. This is not, we're going to take whatever you say and we're done with it. No, they're still going to investigate it. And that's what
Yeah.
people need to do is keep putting pressure on the policemen, on these police departments, and cause them to look more into it instead of just taking a look at one thing and automatically say, oh no. And unfortunately, I hate to say it, when it's dealing with certain group of people.
And that's what I was
That
gonna
now,
bring up too, because isn't it funny how like when there's a mysterious death, they always bring up the herbals, the drug usage. Oh, that aided in her death. It's like, no, she fell to her death maybe, like, and she was beaten. Like we hear
exactly.
that so much. Like, no, that's not a qualifier. Like, no.
And unfortunately, when it's dealing with a crime against a black person, it's a open and shut case real quick. They do not take the time to investigate the case.
At all.
So that's why we need to make a change and hold our elected official accountable to make sure every case is treated properly, regardless of the color of the person's skin. And that's what we need to do.
Yeah. But like this just it's funny like I sent you a video, and the fact that just recently
Yeah,
they destroyed a whole street in Arlington for a doggone dog. They did more for a dog than they do for like African Americans.
a deaf dog,
A deaf
a
fif-
15-year
right.
old
Yeah,
deaf dog.
15-year-old dog. They send out search parties. They get the city involved, but we can't get confirmation of a death of a woman with 5 kids, or well 6 kids, who seemed like she didn't have a criminal record. She was just a citizen. But you did
Exactly.
more for a dog.
And the
You can,
question is, who gonna have to pay for that repairs for that street,
right,
that crew, and all of
right.
that?
They had a
Now,
whole crew over a dog.
now I understand it's a dog,
Yeah, man's
but
best friend.
and what I told Miss Risky, I said, hey, unfortunately, that dog, 15 years old, in
Yeah,
human life, not in dog life. That dog, 15 years old and deaf. So that dog may have been trying to find somewhere to save its owner
yeah,
because it's near its time. And I'm like, hey, I love when we had a dog. I love our dog. He was part of the family. But also we had to make that decision to also put him down because he was sick. And I didn't want to see him suffer. So I'm gonna read a couple of comments because I keep
okay.
forgetting about we on Anchor. I put them up on the stream, but I want to read a couple of comments. Olive said, I appreciate the update. Then she also said, I'm happy her family is keeping the pressure on them. And then she also said she was the only black person there. That says a whole bunch.
Hmm.
The only black person there. Then on the 911 call, they stated was saying that Tamla was drinking. I know how drinking would make you throw yourself off of a balcony. Depends on who it is.
Yeah,
Um,
like she didn't seem like she was, depressed, because they even said in one of the articles that she was the life of the party. So,
Life
um,
of the party ain't
yeah,
finna.
right. Like she had her
Uh,
herbal. She was, and this was ongoing. So, at one point, she was actually speaking with the house, the person who owns the house, boyfriend. I mean, because either he or his friend smoked, so they would go outside. She smoked her herbals, and he was smoking cigarettes.
now
So,
see that could throw up a whole nother question.
right,
Somebody could have got jealous that she was talking with her boyfriend. She the
exactly,
only sister there.
exactly.
So it's a lot of red flag in this situation that it need to be investigated properly. I don't know if that sheriff department have called the FBI. Well, GBI is investigating, but maybe they need to go higher and get somebody else to investigate it, and not somebody who's connected with the police department. So, welcome to the show. T Cal said, "Hey y'all." All aboard said when people start a 911 call with an alibi, I automatically get suspicious.
Exactly.
I
I wasn't
had
even
nothing to
making
do
a
with it.
call.
I was just told to call. And I think she was found the next
Next morning,
morning,
right? Because the neighbor saw her, and the fact that nobody heard a noise.
and
Um,
they
I mean, especially if they keep bringing up, oh, she was drunk and it exceeded the limits, and she was smoking the herbals. You know, I'm sorry, she's not going to be graceful on the way down. Like if she tripped and fell, you would have heard it,
exactly. And I'm like this. The neighbor probably was surprised because there probably ain't no black folks in that neighborhood.
right? And then she's on the lawn. She's probably concerned for other reasons.
Exactly. Um, all the boys said, "Hot tea, Cal." And T Cal said they do leave their owner when they are sick. Talking about the dog in
Right.
Arlington, Texas,
Hmm.
that they spent a lot of money to dig up a street.
Listen, we can't even get a pothole fixed, but they digging up for dogs who probably went through a sewer system. Like you couldn't find the opening, and you
Exactly.
dug up
Had
a whole
somebody
tunnel.
crawl up in there, and
Got
that's not going to
equipment?
be cheap. That's not going to be cheap. Um,
No. You got to
um,
get all these approvals and permits to dig up.
but see, that's why most people unfortunately treat dogs better than they treat human
Oh yeah,
beings. And that's the sad world that we live in. A dog get more respect than
right.
a human being.
And then don't say, "Oh, it's just a dog," because people get all offended. It's like,
Oh
no, it
hell.
is. Like, listen, I love my little fur babies and all this stuff, but at the end of the day, I value human life over them.
Now
Unless they do
see
some crap and then all of a sudden, if they're scum of the earth, and then like, listen here, Fido, kill him.
now see if they treated people the same way they treat these dogs, we'll be in a much better place in this world.
Yeah,
I'm just saying
yeah,
because
probably, yeah. I mean,
this
but then
is
again, they probably find something else to hate. Your booty too big.
you only I don't like you.
You
You
have too much seasoning in your food.
yeah,
It's
so
always something. I don't know. But let's see. Let's go into Quawan Charles.
all right.
This is
Well,
the
well, before we do that,
okay.
I've just noticed something about Anchor.
Oh,
They give
okay.
us a time limit.
Oh,
So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna stop this segment, then we're
okay.
gonna go to the next one. So
Oh, okay.
y'all bear with us because this is our first time doing this while we're doing the show live. So definitely bear with us um and see what we can start with the next one. I hope it don't publish it right now, but it's
Mhm.
processing. So um, I guess I should have said I'd be back on in a minute with Anchor for part two. so
New
so we
platforms and new opportunities.
like I said, we're making a lot of changes with the show. This is the opportunity to be able to support the show. You can actually carry us on the go on Anchor.fm and also other platforms, so you can actually subscribe to the show to support it. It's a low fee, $2.99. Um,
Two hundred
we
ninety nine. No,
let me rephrase that: $2.99. Most of you spend more than that going to Starbucks for a coffee, and that's for the whole month. So $2.99, you just get a half a cup of. Well, you can't even
that's
get
not
a
even
half
half
a
a cup.
cup of Starbucks. Um,
That may
so
be a tall tea or a black
I,
coffee. I mean, you can't get no squirts though. You got to
well,
go
so
over to the little concessions and get your sugar and your creamer on
whatever
the
they
side.
whatever they got out there, just load
The
it
free
up with
stuff.
that.
So that's what you can
Yeah.
get for $2.99.
Um, so that's okay. I think it is. So we're gonna go ahead and do
The
this
next
next one
one.
on part two. Um, whenever I got to do this. See, I'm our first time doing it, so um, stand by. You are listening to Speak On It with Who You With. Kurt Dove, Miss Brisky, and I are doing updates on on the topics that a couple of people asked us to investigate that we've done previous shows with it for Anchor. This is part two of the show. So, all right, Miss Risky, which one we finna investigate now?
Quawan Charles. So this
Quawan
was,
Charles.
yeah, this was the young 15-year-old kid who looked like he was 7 that was picked up by a friend and his mom and disappeared.
Without his parents' permission.
Right. They just picked him up. Like, I think he was at his house and they picked him up. And then, nope, the family's looking for him and the family friend never reported him missing. So after 3 days of searching, one of Kawan's friends mentioned that he last saw the teenager in a car with a white lady and her teenage son, which they passed along to the police department, who were beginning to take the young man's disappearance seriously, because they go through the whole thing. Oh, he probably ran away. Oh, he's probably in the gang. Oh, I'm sure he. After you go through all that, they realize, oh, maybe he's missing because he seemed like a good kid. So on November 3rd, police informed the family that they found Kawan's body in a creek near a wooded area in Baldwin. The family says authorities told them that Kawan had drowned, but gruesome pictures taken by the family revealed that his body was mutilated and it was compared to Emmett Till.
Yes.
Um, he was, and I want to say the field was actually like a sugarcane field, and the water, it was like what, a little pond or some sort. There wasn't a large body of water, but they said he drowned, but his face was all jacked up.
And and I remember looking at those pictures
Hmm.
when we first did the show about him, and it he looked
It
like
was
Emmett
tore up.
Till,
Yeah, it was tore up.
like he was beat,
And just the
and it
elements, he was swollen, but his face was jacked up. He
yes,
was drowned
and
in
this part of
Louisiana.
Louisiana, which is known for the Clans area, so that was very concerning. But here it is, you have a parent and her child come and pick this young man up from home without his parents' permission,
Right.
leave, and fail to report that he was missing.
Right. That was suspicious on all fronts. Like you don't report that he's missing. Like, when did he leave your house? And you didn't offer this up, and the family's looking for him. And it took a friend who saw them pick him up to 3 days later say, "Oh yeah, this his friend and his mom picked him up." And then they're like, "Oh yeah, I just didn't report it. I didn't think about it. I know I should have reported it." And Janet Irvin is the mom that
That
is in
picked him up.
question. Yeah, that picked him up. And so as of, let's see, February 10th, 2021, and this is from CBS News, uh, Janet Irving was charged in connection to the death of Quawan Charles. Um, Janet Irvin, who was 37, they said faces charges of contributing to the delinquency of a minor and failure to report a missing child, according to the Iberia Parish Sheriff's Office. As of February 9th, 2021, she had remained in the Iberia Parish Jail. In her, she had a bail that was set at $400,000 for the two charges. And they stated that there may be more arrests to come. And then on April 17th, 2021, this was on klfy.com. She had bonded out of the parish jail um, after spending 2 months in jail. The judge reduced her bond to $90,000 and set restrictions for her parole. She is required to wear an ankle monitor and must live at her boyfriend's home in Youngsville. She could only leave for court, work, and medical purposes. And so that's where we are with her story as of April of this year.
$90,000. So she ended up
Mhm.
paying $9,000 to get out of jail.
Mhm.
Mm. But like all the boys said, and then he just ended up in the sugarcane field,
Right,
and
mutilate.
also exactly beat. Literally, the pictures look remind me of Emmett Till picture. That's how it look, which is it's no way he drowned and look like that.
Yeah, let
On the
me.
board,
I'm trying to see if I can pull up the picture. Um,
okay,
so
on the
just
board
talk while
also.
I pull it up because a lot of it's distorted. So I'm trying to find something where they actually show the images.
Okay, all aboard also said the adult was responsible for making sure the child got home. Praying, I'm happy there was charges,
All right, so
but
be warned, it's graphic um, and disturbing. And this was him before. Like I said, he looked like he was 7 years old, but he was 15,
yeah,
and that's how they found him. His lip is just like torn up.
like torn up and um,
His it looks like part of his face is just beaten and swollen. And of course, a lot of it's elements, but it looks like on one of his eyebrows, it looks like there's a gash. Um, his teeth are actually like his lip has receded because it looks like they bashed it in
like
and
it torn off or
right, it was
something,
ripped
and
off. And I'm
um,
sorry, like even a drowning and being in the elements for 3 days in Louisiana during that time, your face ain't gonna look beaten like that.
exactly. All the boys said, "I'm not looking at the pics, no thanks."
Right.
Yeah,
Like I said,
but
that's why I was like, I warn you, it's graphic, and I'm all about showing the images. Um,
and it's sad that we're still having to deal with this type of thing uh, in 2021. We still having to deal with hatred, uh, racism. It's unnecessary. It's really unnecessary to hate your neighbor because the thing is, we're all in this world together. Ain't nobody going nowhere until the
right.
good Lord call us home, and we need to be able to get along with each other.
Right.
So
And even if you don't like certain groups of people, listen, just get along and get along. Like, don't like, we're not forcing our views on you. We're not trying to uh, teach your kids how to lie, cheat, and steal because, they get that from cable. We're just trying to live life the way everybody else is. Like,
exactly,
let's again change the narrative of how minorities are viewed in this world because it's like no matter where you go, we have such a negative view. There's like everybody thinks we're hood rats, we're criminals, we're in a gang, we have 15 kids living up the system, and it's like, look at your company. How many black folks are in your company? By your statistics, all of them should be at home, living off the system, drinking Hennessy in the front yard, in gang meetings. That is just like sometimes you just need to think about where the root of these false narratives and these stereotypes come from, and just pause, like, and think.
exactly. And Hennessy, if y'all would like to sponsor the show, I do
Yeah,
like Hennessy. I also like white
Cardi B
Hennessy.
sister,
Also,
you trying to sponsor Cardi B sister Hennessy?
I like her too. If she want to sponsor the show, tell her come on.
But
No,
no,
but
yeah, it's just
uh,
crazy. We just got the low end of the stick, and it's just like no matter how much we excel, there's always a group trying to harm us. It's like you're spouting all these Christian beliefs. Where in the Bible did it say to beat and abuse your fellow man because they don't think like you, or look like you, or dress like you, or whatever? It's nowhere.
exactly.
So like,
Um,
stop it.
Most definitely. T Cal said, wow, so sad. Yes, it is sad. It's sad that we're still having to deal with these type of action in 2021, almost 2022, and we're still having to deal with it. I want to welcome you to the show. You are listening to Speak On It with Who You With, Kurt, though. Um, as I say all the time, if you are on my personal Facebook page, please go over to Speak On It with Who You With, Kurt, though. Like, share, tell a friend. And you can live chat with us, and the chat will come up on our monitor just like T-Cal, all aboard. Definitely go over to Speak On It with Who You With, Kurt, though. It's right at the bottom of your screen. Just put it in just like that. And live chat with us. But sometimes Facebook be tripping. And
Hmm.
if you're on my personal page, I won't get the message until after the show when I go on there because I have a lot of stuff I'm operating now. So it's kind of like I don't get a chance to look at everything. But also, all the board has said they don't initially set a $400,000 bail on a white woman for those charges unless there is more to it.
Right. And that number did change a bit, and it was raised to $400,000 at one point, and then it, eventually, I guess she served her 2 months, and then they're like, "We'll drop it and do this." So I guess she had a decent lawyer um, to help
It may
her lower that.
it may not necessarily be a decent lawyer, but it's probably because of who the victim is. I hate to say it, but in that small parish of Louisiana, that is known to have Klansman activity going on, and a young black kid is murdered, who gonna question?
Right.
Kind of like Emmett Till death was all because of a lie, and
Exactly.
the woman admitted, and nothing happened.
Right.
They
And
talking
she's
about the
still alive and
investigating.
kicking. Get her.
Yeah, they talking about the investigating it, and then the article that I'm looking at is saying that um, that his family say his parents are not angry that Janet Irvin, the woman arrested for the involvement in their child death, was recently released from jail.
Yeah.
I'm like this: you do the crime, you do the time.
Right. But at this point, like, they haven't proven anything. They don't know what happened. So they're probably like, all right, yeah, well, until we know for sure that you had a hand in his death or not, we're going to do the Christian thing and just say, you know what? Right now, we forgive you for not reporting him missing. And that's
And
probably what they're doing. But,
9 times out of 10, I wouldn't be surprised if they don't say time was served.
yeah, but if they find more things, because in the article it stated that more arrests may be pending. So maybe they found something else, and maybe there's something else going on that we're not aware of. And so maybe that's why they were like, you know what? Let's reduce her bail because we found something else. Maybe she knew something, and maybe that's why it was reduced. And she was like, all right, so yeah, he was missing, but he left with so and so. So you may want to look over there. Like maybe she has some information that benefited her, but at the end of the day, she took somebody's child
Without the
without
parent permission,
apparent permission from his home and drove
which
him
is
away.
bad,
So
which is bad.
she couldn't get out of that situation.
If you do that, you are responsible for that child. You are responsible. Um, because, first of all, you should never remove any child from their home without talking with that parent first.
Exactly.
You
How
don't know what
old they
that
are.
parent, yeah, you don't know what that parent have plans for. You don't know if that child is on punishment. You should not remove that child from that house without talking to that parent.
Hmm.
I don't care who it is. And
Because it seems
that's
like, like those predators, they use a bait child to get them in the van or a pet. That's what she used her son. Her son was bait,
exactly.
and they went to go pick him up. And the
All
kid's not gonna think, oh wait, like like I don't know what if he had a cell phone or not, but the fact that he didn't text or call a parent and say,
I
"Oh,
think
I'm
he
at
did have
so,"
a cell phone.
right. So I was like, I need to know more, like what happened, because he was just in for a ride. Like I have questions. Like, how did he
Exactly.
leave his home there? Was it planned? Like, oh yeah, I'll come and visit for a minute. And he's thinking he didn't need to notify his parents, and then something Al went on. I don't know. So,
Um, all the boys said, "Nah, lock her up. I'm not forgiving anything, much less for someone who isn't remorseful."
and they never are, unless they get caught. That's the only time you see them tears.
Exactly. That's kind of like uh and I know this is not dealing with the stories we're talking about tonight, but kind of like yesterday, this guy murdered someone back in 74,
Oh,
and he finally admitted to doing it, and they give him life in prison.
like he's
I'm like,
100 years
hell,
old. He's like got
exactly.
2 weeks.
If that long. And he's in a
He
wheelchair.
got 2 weeks, 3 hours and 43 seconds. Like, come on now. Oh,
He
look
probably,
at me. Yeah, I killed her like a teenage girl. How old was he when he killed that woman or that little
I'm not
girl?
quite sure.
Because
Um,
he was
but
ancient. Um,
it happened in 74. And I'm like, 74? And now I understand about DNA that that's what connected them. But now the fact that he finally admitted that he did it, and now they're giving him life, and he didn't admit until they got to the trial.
right.
That was the sad part. He had denied it the whole time. I think the day before um, they showed his interview, and then he decided to go ahead and confess to it,
It looks like he
which
was
is
17. So 19. He's 77. I'm gonna do some math here. Some quick math. Uh,
so. If she was 17, that means she would have been.
big old something just flew by my face. I think it was a ladybug.
Nah,
I was
Ladybug
like,
is lucky, so
oh my
you
gosh. Hold on, it threw me off guard. Hold on. Hitting all the
got the
buttons.
you got the gnats going on again.
Like I said, I don't know what that was.
It's probably sitting on your
17.
shoulder.
So he was 30
Mm.
and she was 17.
And it's been what, 46 years?
Yeah, 46, 40.
No,
Yeah,
47 years.
46.
47 years, and he was 30, so
Yeah.
he's
He's
76,
77
77.
now. He's 77 now, so it's 40. Well, it says 46 years ago, and he's 77. So yeah, 30. That's that common core math, y'all.
Exactly. So
He was a
all the
grown
boys,
man. Is the point? He was a grown man, and
he
he killed the 17-year-old girl. So he knew
that
better.
sound like a that sound like a trial we've been following. Um, the only thing about it, nobody got killed, but somebody got peed on.
All right,
But um, um,
and yeah, because
all the boy, all the boys said he probably wasn't able to support himself anymore. Said, "Let me go ahead and get this free elder elder
right.
care."
Well, listen, I'm planning my federal prison stint because listen, or at a cruise ship because I can't afford to live a senior life unless I win a lottery or get this agent. But yeah, it looks like he let's see, the girl was Carla Jan Walker. He held her captive and sexually assaulted her before murdering her and leaving her in a ditch after a
Mm.
Valentine's Day dance.
And she did. As a matter of fact, I think her boyfriend was the last one to see her alive. Well, before she ran across him, but they even brought her ex boyfriend to the trial, and the family They were saying, "Hey, we're glad this is over. Glad you took." Yeah, he needed some health care.
Like he just looks
Pandemic,
all pathetic. It's
pandemic,
like, what's
and
your name,
got him.
man? No.
Pandemic, and got him, and he needed somewhere to live. Get 3 meals a day.
Yeah.
Do they give 3 meals a day in prison?
I think a lot of time. I don't know. I've not been there.
I've
I'm
never been there
assuming
either.
they
So,
give breakfast, lunch, and dinner. 3 squares and a cot. But I know for the most part, if you have money in your books, you can just buy stuff from the commissary. So, but I still think they have a traditional, 3 square meals. So most
okay.
most
If
part.
somebody know the answer, do they give
Hey Google. I know. I'm
three
just
meal 3 meals in prison? If somebody know the answer, definitely let us know because I'm kind of curious.
I think they do.
But hey, I don't know. I've never been. I'm too cute to go to jail. I can't do jail. Uh, Jail or prison,
Yeah, it
neither
says
one of them.
here, inmates within the Federal Bureau of Prisons are provided 3 nutritional sound meals a day. They want to make sure that you know that they're nutritional sound meals.
But if you go down to Huntsville,
But it does say
you-
prisoners receive 2 basic meals a day, a breakfast, and this is where is this? I don't know where this is because they're talking about some kind of weird meal. Well, you know what? I'm not going to quote them because I don't even know what that is. You're talking about some
yeah,
like meal paste.
all the boys said if they get 3 meals a day, and if he has a special diet, diabetic, he will get extra. Hey, I take your word for it. I'm put it like this. I don't want to personally experience it to find out. So, um, so I'm glad the family had closure.
Yeah,
Definitely glad of
somewhat,
that.
but I'm sure like they said there's still there may be some yeah yeah
Yeah, because and I believe it was her sister gave a nice speech, a
yeah.
victim impact speech, and she was like, "I'm glad you finally admitted, um, even though it took you so long." Um,
He's I mean that pathetic old man look. He's pulling on the heartstrings like listen, old men commit crimes and like this. Sure, I'm sure this was not his first one and only. Like, come on, like
exactly.
like
Um,
that's probably why he went down so easily. But I bet you his deathbed speech, he's gonna be like, oh, there's some other bodies that I had killed, laid out for y'all. So I'm sure there's gonna be some closed cases um, uh, that's gonna be closed by then. Some cold cases that'll be closed on his deathbed.
exactly. What's going on? Marcellus Smith is in the house, and I'm late, but I'm here. What's going on? Um, so, welcome to the show, Marcellus. We doing some new
Oh,
things tonight.
Marcellus, 2 hours later.
We doing some new things. We're actually broadcasting on Anchor at the same time. Instead of trying to upload the shows, we actually broadcasting on there as well. And also, please share the link with your guests, with your followers. They can actually subscribe to the Anchor and carry us along with them. It's a small fee, $2.99 a month. Support the show and let your friends know. We're going to be doing a lot more shows. Normally, when we're doing our shows live, we're also going to be putting them on Anchor at the same time. So definitely support the show by subscribing to Anchor FM and carry us along with you. Um, now the only difference is about Anchor, we do have a time limit that we can do this live. So but we have to stop it and start a new episode.
When
So
is our deadline to go on to the next segment? Like how much time?
we got a couple of minutes because we're at
Well,
25 on this one.
all right, I'll fill it in with this. I won some cash on a settlement. Listen,
What?
all these class action suits, if I can sign up for it, I'm going for it. So this one was the added sugar class action for the Post cereals because I guess they added more sugar than they claimed. So yeah, I got a whole heaping $3.29 in
So
my
you could go and
PayPal.
buy you could go buy another box of cereal.
I don't know. I can't afford Post. Those are $4.99.
Uh,
Like
a
all
whole
my
$3.29.
Cheerios and all that stuff.
Hey,
Now,
you $3.29 richer than what you was
yeah,
before you
yeah,
came.
that'll go towards my Starbucks that I'm gonna have tomorrow.
Exactly. Now, if y'all don't follow Miss Risky on Instagram, y'all missing a treat because when she come on there and do "Hello, my peoples," I just start laughing. I'm like, boy, that's my girl right there. That's
Well, and
my
it's rare that I'm doing it because the lines are short now, so I can't set up my Snapchats anymore to go into my Friday commentary. So
exactly. Um, so
I did a
on
TikTok
Anchor.
today.
Oh, you
So
did?
at Risque, go
Okay,
check it out.
I'm gonna have to check it out.
So
Yeah,
that's two in my folder.
I'm gonna check it out. I'm gonna have to go check it out. So, Anchor, this is part two of the show for today. We will be coming back with the third part for today. So, just stand by and we will bring up part three. Um, so as soon as this actually finish uploading and all of that, then I will start it. But and we're doing some new things. Like I told y'all, there's some changes coming to the show, and this is one of the changes where you can actually subscribe to the show on Anchor and whatever platform you listen to, whether if it's Apple or whatever. You can be a sponsor of the show, just $2.99 a month. $2.99. Look, you can't even get a Happy Meal for $2.99 a month no more. I mean, $2.99 anymore. So now Happy Meal
Yeah,
is going
wasn't
to
it like
cost you about.
$4.15?
I have no idea. I know they high. Um,
I think that was
so
it the last time because I wanted a toy. It's probably Angry Birds, and I wanted to collect all the toys, and I got a Happy Meal.
hey, I feel you on that. What you sipping on?
Water.
You know,
That
I'm
good
doing the
old
same.
H2O.
I'm doing the same thing. Water, and then I have I wanted to. I have to tell you about this story. I I I messed up.
Uh-oh.
I'm on punishment right now. So
What you do?
I'm gonna tell you in just a minute. I'm on punishment. Just say I'm on punishment. It's certain things I can't do anymore,
Oh,
and
Lord.
I don't know if I should even. Now we'll have to talk off the air with them.
Oh,
Uh,
Lord.
yeah, we'll have to talk off the air about that one. Okay, hold on. Let me bring another segment up. Hold on, real quick. Um, Once again, you are listening to Speak On It with Who You With Kurt Dog. I'm Who You With Kurt Dog. Miss Risky is in the house on a Thursday night. As always, Anchor, we're getting ready to start part three. Getting ready to start part three of the show. So go ahead and grab a seat, grab your nice ice cocktail because it's hot outside. Um,
Have
I'm
not been
drinking
outside
water.
today.
I'm drinking water tonight. No, I'm not going to say that on the show because if I say it on the show,
Yeah.
I tell her off the air
Uh,
and I'll send you a message later and let you know. But T Cal said, hey, that's yeah, they are 324 in some area. the post cereal. If you catch them on sale, you might can find them 2 for $5 every once in a
Oh
while.
yeah, that's why I hang out at my favorite haberdashery, CVS. And they do 2 for $5, and I have all these cereals just going old just because I buy them two at a
You
time.
know, I, I haven't ate cereals in a while though.
I had
I
some this
purchased them
morning. It was awesome.
because my wife she eat them all the time. Uh, I need I don't breakfast is hard for me. I know they say that's the best meal of the day,
Yeah.
but
Well, yeah, it's
it's
the
hard
most
for me.
important meal of the day, and I
Yeah,
can't skip it because I will fall out 2 hours if I don't. I can
yeah.
skip any other meal, but breakfast I cannot. I tried.
I guess I'm just so busy. I don't have time to sit down and eat a bowl of cereal all the time. So,
Never, listen, you fall out one time, you will never skip that meal again.
well, I may eat something else, an energy bar or something,
Yeah, as
because
long
when
as
I
you get something, because I have to
yeah,
get something. Um,
long as I eat something because some of my vitamins that I take, um, they do require that you have food on your stomach.
yeah,
And when I started taking this one particular vitamin,
you got the
I
blue bloops.
it didn't even go that far. I got in my vehicle, and before I left our subdivision, I'm like, man, my stomach is upset. I'm like, oh Lord, I took this vitamin and it say you must eat something. So I just ate an energy bar I had with me. And I was like, okay, and drank plenty of water.
Yeah.
So uh
Me, I
take
tried
care.
a meal replacement shake because I was trying to get fit and fine, and this is before, this is a long time ago. And hour and a half later, I was like, nope, that ain't gonna work. I started seeing
Nah,
stars.
you can't. I used to do one faithfully, but then I stopped doing it and then I went back to try to do it. It did not work at
Well,
all.
there's a lot of sugar in it as well. It like no matter what you get, it's a lot of sugar, and that just makes you hungrier.
T Cal talking about tell us what you're in trouble for. I cannot do it on the air because uh no.
It's your you got the sugars.
Now I'll tell you off there. I'll
Yeah.
tell you once we get off and T
If you
Cal
follow me on Instagram, I will let the world know.
no, not that.
I'm kidding.
Not that. Mm-mm. Uh, no, but we also did an investigation of one more story
Okay.
that did an update on that one also. The two
Orson
young
and Orrin
brothers.
West.
Yes. Um, man, that's I don't like kids.
Yeah,
Kids.
they're 4 years old. Well, Orrin was 4 and Orson was 3. Um, they're brothers that vanished from a home of their adoptive parents in California City, California, on December 21st, 2020. It looks like they were adopted by the 30-year-old Jacqueline West and 34-year-old Trizelle West after they were placed in their care from a foster system. So Jacqueline reported that she was wrapping Christmas presents around 4 p.m. that day, and she let the children go out to the back to play on, I guess, a patio with some chalk. Trizell claims that he went out to get wood for the fire, walked past the brothers, and then went back inside. Soon after, Trizell claims he went back outside and the boys were gone. Um, he realized that he may have left the gate open. The last time Trishelle and Jacqueline West have spoken publicly or given an update on the missing boys was December 23rd. Not long after, they left their house in California City, and police say they are now living in Bakersfield. As of the most recent information, This was again in December 2020. Um, the case is still open. Like the boys have, there are no leads. Um, on August 13, 2021, um, the missing California boys are were going to be featured, and I don't know. I think it's supposed to be this month. They're going to be featured on Investigation Discovery Show. It's a John Wash show. In Pursuit, yeah, with John Wash. So they're going to be brought up because there are no leads, and they're looking for anything and everything they can get because they've got nothing. Like no leads, no evidence. They're just gone, which I find is hard to believe.
And I'm actually going to that show may have already aired because I'm
Well,
looking
see,
at
that's
the
what it
date
said,
of
but
it.
I looked for it this morning,
Okay,
and it was
because
another story.
it say
So
August 13th, and it said it's supposed to be aired on Wednesday.
yeah,
Um, so I'm gonna have to look and see. But also,
yeah, because it's supposed to be
um,
one of the first premieres because season 3 just started, and it's supposed to be on one of those. And they have 2 episodes already out, but that wasn't one of the stories.
okay. Also, I was one of the stories I read that came out, I guess, in January 27, 2021. It actually talked about how, of course, um, according to what the parents said on John Walker, police chief for the California City Department, say the boys' adopted parent claimed they left their California City house on December the 19th with their 6 children to go Christmas shopping in Bakersfield. Security camera footage from a neighbor showed an adult holding the door open while 4 children go into the van. Then later that day, 2 adults, which appeared to be Trezell and Jacqueline West, came back to the house without any kids. So these
'Cause
are
I know they brought
all
up the grandparents as well, that they may have been with, but she's like, I don't know what you're talking. Like it's just a weird story, um, because these young boys, they I want to say Bakersfield Police Department, uh, they interviewed 83 people, served or had 44 search warrants um, on the residence and on electronic devices. 170 items have been seized, over 200 tips have been received, and 16 mass area searches have been conducted. Um, and 3 searches have been outside of California.
mm,
So right now they're asking if anybody has any information to call BPD 661-327-7111. Um, so that's where they are. And I'm going to try to look for that episode because, like I said, it should be coming up soon. But I don't know. I didn't see it in the first 2 shows or the first 2 episodes because I'm very interested to see if they present new information that wasn't anything that we discovered.
okay. And also, do you have the link um, for that John Wash show?
I
We can
do
put it
not.
up in the chat.
No.
Oh, okay. I
But
think I
I
have
think
it
that
on.
was in an article. Investigation Discovery. Yeah, that was in the one of the first links for them.
Okay.
Um,
Um, and
so yeah, that's
I
the first
think
link. Yeah, that's the first link.
I want to say when we first did the show, did the story, it talked about the biological parents could have something to do with it. or something. It was all strange.
Yeah, they
Either
brought
way,
him, a grandparent, but it was all convoluted, and it was just like, all right. At the end of the day, they were in the backyard of their foster parents' home. Where'd they go? And the fact that
their
nobody,
adopted parent.
right, not foster, well, adoptive foster. They
Uh,
adopted them from a foster.
yes.
But yeah, they were still there in the backyard. And nobody
And,
saw two kids wandering off. Nobody saw any, that was the last sighting. So I don't know. And then it's like, were they actually there when they were reported missing? Like maybe they were missing before that.
well, I actually seen as I went farther down the story I just talked about. It said um, Chief Walker said the parents claimed they dropped off four of their children,
Hmm.
not including Aaron and Orson, at a family member home that day.
Hmm.
Walker said December the 19th was the last day the other four children say they saw Orrin and Orson. Then the West family moved to their California City house in September, and now they done got up and moved again.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, they did something to them boys.
yeah. Um, leave the babies alone. These are our futures. Um, so definitely leave the kids alone. Um, give them that opportunity. You did a good thing by adopting them and getting them out of the system. Whatever happened, look, just come forward. It eventually gonna come out. As we can see, it may be 47 years from now, but it will eventually come out. Um, I'll board asked if I could call in. You're always welcome to call. The phone line is open, and you can definitely call in. Let me get prepared for her to call in. So, because the other night when she called, it sounded like I, I don't know. I was tired.
Hmm.
It looked like it came from Colorado or somewhere. I was like, I was getting ready. Well, I was gonna answer because I was doing the show. I didn't think I was getting a spam call that late, but
Hmm.
uh, that's another thing. For some reason, my wife and I keep getting the text message from
Raheem.
supposedly AT&T saying that we got money, or Walmart, or
Oh yeah,
somebody
those are my
keeps saying,
favorites. I just block them
okay,
as I go.
hold on real quick.
Oops, your caller just hung up. Goodbye.
Oh, she hung up. Come on now, all aboard. I hook you up and you done hung up on me. Uh, um,
Maybe she was just
she
testing the
probably,
water. She was like, I want to see if I can really call in. Psych.
now, all aboard, she called in quite a bit. Matter of fact, she's the one that actually asked us about investigating. Okay,
Yeah,
here it
yeah, I
come again.
remember.
Hold on, hold on.
All aboard. To accept, press 1. To send a...
All aboard. You didn't want, did I sound bad? Reason why you hung up?
No, I didn't hear anything. I said, we must be getting that Oregon connection again.
Oh, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. Hi, Miss Whiskey. How are you?
Can you hear?
Yeah, I can hear. I'm doing
No,
all right.
but I'm gonna be watching on my phone, so I don't interrupt you guys when you're talking. I had a couple things to add about the Orrin and the Orrin and Orson West case.
Yes.
Something that just stood out to me from what they were saying, from what the family has come forward and said, the biological family. There wasn't an issue of abuse. It seemed to be like a technicality. And one thing that I noticed with the foster care system is that they're doing something lately where they're taking children, like the heart children. I don't know if you remember the case with the heart children, where the adopted parents drove them off a cliff.
Yes, that was
on
the
the use
uh,
of the force.
the same sex couple out of California.
Mm-hmm.
They moved from the
Yes.
East Coast, I believe, and then uh, or they was traveling or something, and they drove all of them off the cliff.
Yes, and they were starving them before that. And I think it's a really bad idea to allow a family to have the majority of their income come from the children that they're fostering. And California happens to be a state where it's just easier to be able to adopt a child. Because those children, like you said, they were from the East Coast and they were taken out there. Seems to be a pattern where you adopt someone's children or you foster someone's children, and then the next thing you know, you can't even go to visit the children if you wanted to because they're in a whole other state or they're in a whole other city.
Well, I think
it seems like that. Mm-hmm.
I believe what was going on with that particular case, they was being investigated by CPS or something, and they decided to run, and they end up killing themselves and the kids, which is
Yes.
never a good thing.
Mm-hmm. But with these people, from what I've learned, they were heavily in debt. They actually had to borrow money to get the house, the Bakersfield house, or the Bakers house in California that they got. They had to borrow money from someone else to get it. She said she had never seen the boys either. The person who they borrowed the money from said that she had never seen the two small boys either. So I think that the boys were gone a long time before that,
Right.
because it seems like they weren't on video in the new house at all.
Yeah, because that's where it got murky. Because I was like, yeah, I believe those boys were missing way before it was reported. I think because of the holidays and the families were getting together, then it was this, she's like, oh, I was wrapping gifts. So it came up with the story. Well, they're outside, and he's getting wood for the fire. So it was chilly, clearly, but you let these two
Exactly.
boys, did they have a coat? Like, and you just let them go outside?
No,
Like,
they weren't even properly dressed. And you don't send toddlers out by themselves so you can wrap presents when you can easily just wrap presents at midnight when they're in bed.
exactly.
Exactly.
That's what
And
everybody does.
And where were the boys when they dropped the other kids off, if that's the point? If
Right.
they're saying that they dropped the other 4 kids off, where were the boys?
Missing.
Were they left alone?
They probably been missing much longer than what they actually are saying, and these are. I remember talking about this case because it really did upset me. Anything dealing with kids being injured or killed or something like that, it bothers me. And I remember when we talked about this case, it was just a bad situation. Um, because here it is, you've done the steps to adopt the kids, and then now they come up missing.
Right. Because now do they still get money after they adopt
Not
them?
adoption, not
Okay,
once
so
they're adopted. Now I take that back. I want to say certain benefits come out of it. You may, I know foster care, you
right,
definitely get
you get
paid for it.
funds. Because usually what I see is usually the parents, like the kids, end up running away, and the foster parents don't report it, but they keep collecting those checks. And it's once they get people start snooping around. Oh, where's so and so? Oh, she ran away. I was gonna report it. That's when they start reporting things. And so that's where I'm wondering if there was a situation with these two boys, you know, they're going, the other kids are going off with the families, and someone's like, wait, where's Orrin and Orson? And people are like, yeah, where are they? I haven't seen them. I've seen y'all. Why aren't y'all together? And so now all of a sudden, oh my gosh, they were in the backyard. They were with chalks and they're missing, and because there's no leads, like there's nothing.
And
So
it's
they've
cold
probably been
outside.
gone for a minute.
And it's cold outside.
Right. Because
So
homeboy Trezell, he went to go get wood and something for the fireplace. It's cold. It's December. I don't know about California, but I know at certain places, like at a certain time, like yeah, it's warm and comfortable, but you need a jacket or something for the afternoons. The evenings.
exactly,
Well, you need supervision. You
Yeah,
need supervision if you're a toddler. You can just be playing and fall and hurt yourself. You could, a number of other things could have happened. Just being out by yourself at 3 and 4 years old. But what I don't think would happen is that the two of them would both, like, now if one of them disappeared, maybe that's possible. But
right,
there's two.
right. Yeah,
There's two little babies. Um, and I highly doubt that they both disappear.
right.
I think that this family is involved. I don't think they cared about those children to begin with. First of all, the family, their birth family, actually did want to see the children, and they were visiting with the children. And when they were missing, that the biological family came out, and they were the ones organizing the search and putting pressure on them. And I think those people didn't have the best interest of these children at heart anyway, because they didn't even go out and search.
Right.
well,
He spent the corner.
well, I think also once a child is adopted, the biological parents never know where they are.
Well, it depends on the adoption because they can have an open adoption, which
Okay.
meant they can have, because it sounds like they were still in touch
Yeah.
with the biological family because there was one of the cousins, the biological cousins made a comment. So I think it was probably open and it was like, all right, you go ahead and adopt them, but we need to still keep tabs on them, which I think now is more common now than a closed adoption.
Okay. Because I remember when the story happened, it was alleged that the biological family, could have had something to do with it, which I believe the police did investigate them also. So definitely, we need to continue to pay attention to these cases because we deal with so many different things, talk about so many different topics, and sometimes we forget about some of them until someone like All Aboard bring it up and ask us, "Hey, can we get an update on this?" And we appreciate you for asking us to do an update because now we gotta continue to update and see if anything changed because we need justice. The kids, hopefully, they are okay, but we need to know exactly where they are.
For
And need
some
to
sort of
continue.
closure, at least.
Yes, exactly. Well, all aboard. I definitely appreciate you always calling in, being a part of the
Thank you.
show. I appreciate it, and uh, because we're doing a new system, we kind of on this time schedule because
I understand.
at 30 minutes is going to cut out, and we need to do
I
it.
understand.
Get prepared for that. So I
One
appreciate
second, before you get me off, I want to just say thank you guys for doing the update. And a lot of these stories don't get any attention because of the color of the victim's skin. A lot of times, so thank you. We really need this. It's important. Thank you, Mr. Risky and Kurt Dog, for having me on the show.
Hey, I appreciate it, and we will continue to do stories like this. And you be safe out in Florida because we know it's bad.
Okay.
Oh, and I'm gonna say this before we go. I'm gonna let you go, but then I'm gonna make a comment also. So definitely
Okay.
stick around. All right, I appreciate it, Miss All Aboard. You take care. Have a good evening. So, Miss Risk,
Yes.
and we're gonna get ready to shut it down for the night. But they the supporter of the governor of Florida, Governor Santos, his supporter telling him, "Don't run for 2024." They told him, "Do not do it." For the simple fact, we're not voting for you.
Oh, wow. Not Ron. They
So,
doing Ron like that?
hey, he had 88% of the votes, and they telling him not to vote, not to run for president. I told y'all that's what he was trying to do was set up the fact of him and Greg Abbott trying to set up their presidential run. But both of them need to go.
Right, because it's like they're with we have record deaths and record high COVID, due to COVID. So like they're like the what do they call it? The something of death. What do they call it? The angel of death.
Yeah.
What do they call?
Um,
Oh, the Grim Reapers. That's what I was trying to think of.
no, the
They're
Grand
Grim
Reaper.
Reapers of Florida and Texas.
Exactly. So, Miss Risky,
Yes.
tell the people where they can find you.
All over social media at RSKEE. Got TikTok, Instagram. I live on TikTok, or not TikTok, but Instagram. RSKEE at yahoo.com. If you have any story ideas, go ahead and write in. Or if you just love me so much you want to send me messages, do that. RSKEEbooks.com, and you can check out my works. Hopefully by the end of this year I have some news to tell you and that I can share. I'm trying to sell this script. We need agents. Help
Yes,
us
we do.
out.
Yes, we do. We need agents because hopefully my book will start being in the work this year. But it can hit the market by the beginning of next year. I know I can do self-publish and have it out in a couple of days, but I want to do it the right way because it will be a New York Times bestseller. So if you're listening and trying to have connection with getting the book published, hey, hit me up. Hit me up, 972-591-3665. Or you can also email me, probably the best way to do it. And you can always email me and now I can respond back. But legit companies, legit companies. I made that mistake and they still call me. But other than that, we really appreciate everyone coming on tonight. Uh, Anchor. I know I've been saying for a while I'm gonna do more shows, but we're gonna start recording shows, and they probably gonna be due to the limitation of us recording them live. Um, it's only can do 30-minute segments, so but we're gonna make it work. So definitely continue to follow the show. Please take the time to subscribe to Anchor.fm. Support the show, $2.99 a month. $2.99 a month. And we're looking at some big things coming up next year. So definitely support the show, help the show out. We really appreciate it. So you can find me on social media. Be honest with you. Uh, Send me an email or send me a message, and I will respond. But I don't deal with a lot of spam. So until Sunday night, I will be back Sunday. We love each and every one of you. Until then, peace.